You're listening to Convenience Matters, brought to you by Cenex. We'll talk about what we see at stores and what the future may hold for our industry.
When you talk to shoppers who seek out local businesses, one unique advantage rises to the top. They want to stop at places that have a true understanding of the communities that they serve. In other words, they act local. Today, we're going to talk more about what it means to act local, and not just about your customers, but also your employees who also seek out a local sense of purpose. Cenex has a C-store survey that we recently did where we asked, what do you seek out when you look to get a job at a store? And right after salary and benefits is something that says, it makes me feel good. Big part of that is local and community. So joining us for our conversation today about how your business can be a local champion in your community is Erin Wroge. She is Senior Director of Energy Marketing at CHS, which is, of course, the parent brand of Cenex. So thanks for joining us today, Erin.
Oh, thank you. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm super excited we're talking local because that is really where Cenex shines. So I can't wait to have this conversation.
So I think a lot of people are aware of Cenex, but for those who aren't, can you give us an overview of what Cenex is and what type of operations are involved with Cenex?
Sure, absolutely. Well, Cenex is the energy brand of CHS, which is a global agribusiness that serves producers and ranchers across the heartland of America. And really what we're talking about today primarily involves our retail network. And we take pride in the fact that each one of those locations is independently owned and operated. And in partnering with us, the Cenex brand, they really can lean into serving their community in the best way possible for that community and for those folks that depend on them for their energy needs every day.
When I spend a lot of time on the road, and when I'm on the road visiting stores, one of the things I notice is stores are able to do two things. They're able to talk about, have that local feel, but even better when they're part of a national brand, because there's nothing in media relations, and that's one of the things I do. The easiest story to land is national brand does something local. And I guess same thing applies in retail, that people want to know that there's a trusted brand that has been proven, but also it's very much local. And one of the things I know that Cenex does is they have this Lift program that allows retailers to pretty much have the best of both worlds, where part of something larger, but also very much a local feel. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. You're spot on, Jeff. Partnering with a national brand really allows local owners and operators of critical convenience store locations to elevate their operations. It's just a way to leverage the experience and the power of a brand like Cenex. And we're extremely proud of our Lift program. It's a Cenex brand initiative that really consists of making an impact through lighting, image, and facilities transformation across our network, and really, excuse the pun, lighting up these small communities, right? Really energizing them and giving them a location they can be proud of. Lyft provides our retailers really with that freedom and that flexibility to renovate their stores how they see fit. And that's super special in the market and in the industry. And of course, as we mentioned at the top, CHS is a leading global agribusiness that's owned by farmers, ranchers, and cooperatives across the United States in these small communities. So through the power of CHS, that Cenex brand is able to give back in many ways to these operators through a program like Lift. And then I think it's really critical to understand that Lift has flexibility built in. It's really comprised of two components. On one side, we've got the Halo Image program, and the Halo Image upgrades really focus on that forecourt, on that exterior experience. So think, fueling islands, canopies, branding outside that elevates the appearance of Cenex location from any Cenex location with regards to attractiveness and safety, right? And then the in-store loan program is the other half of the Lift program. And it really allows that customization that's so critical to our conversation today. It allows store owners to really incorporate renovations, allowing them to personalize those stores and really meet each community's unique needs and serve those folks, again, that depend on that day in and day out.
I've said I've spent a lot of time on the road, and some of that is filming this Ideas to Go video series that we have. And we're really focusing this year on customer experience. And the customer experience involves a couple different elements, but how do you let people know you have something awesome and then move them on throughout the store? And when you were talking about the Lift program, it struck me that it hits all those elements. You start with the lighting, the beacon of hope when somebody's driving through a town and they know this place looks safe, this place looks clean, this place looks modern, this place looks like a place for me. And then there's the image that just conveys all the things that you stand for, and then you walk through the facilities and the whole transformation. So it's almost a way to the Lift program is the four elements of how do you move a customer along in that journey from awareness to purchase to customer and just keep that virtuous cycle going. What do you tell retailers when you talk about Lift and how it fits for them in terms of examples where this shows you the power of Lift and what Cenex can do for you?
I think first off, you hit something that's really critical for each retailer to keep in mind when they're understanding the best way to leverage Lift or any program to their benefit. And that is really trying to get to the crux of the customer experience. And every customer is different, right? You're never going to hit it out of the park for every person that enters your store. But trying to understand the vibe they're looking for, the products they're looking for, there really isn't a one-size-fits-all approach to revamping a Cenex location. So it's up to that store owner to really choose the upgrades that they feel are right for their location and those customer experiences at their location. Our overall goal really is for store owners to use this program, these incentives, to enhance customer experience and safety at their location. And that has to be defined by the retailer. That's one of the beauties of partnering with Cenex, is that the retailer gets to choose how they should enhance those qualities of their store. And through the number of stores that have already used this program to their advantage, they've really used it in a majority of scenarios to create really a custom-made location, which is cool because you have that unique, modern, well-lit, safe experience, but with the flavor of the local community. It really makes me think of one of the stores that we worked with in Roseau, Minnesota. Northern Resources Cooperative has a location up there, and they used the Lift program to respond to really what they felt their customers and needs and wants really were. The store manager kept his community top of mind, really to enhance functionality and safety, as well as that in-store experience. The overall project included a store expansion and really making the store more accessible to all their community members. And then some fun additions were the addition of a reach-in and walk-in cooler, self-checkout stations, which, as we all know, are really a buzz topic across the industry these days, a craft soda station, which I think is really cool. I love fun and funky soda flavors. And those actually were sourced from a Midwest-based brewery. So you think kind of some of those unique elements that this operator in Roseau brought in really kind of highlights the power of customization through Lift.
The other thing we've talked a couple times, so we've used the word safety. And safety is always important. traveling alone, traveling at night, traveling anytime. But over the last couple of years, safety's taken on a little bit more importance across the country and in all retail verticals. We did a survey where we found that 35% of Americans said that they had changed where they had shopped in at least one case because of safety concerns, that they just didn't feel a comfort level at a store they were shopping at. And you start with safety, you start with cleanliness, you start with all these things. And if you don't have that, you don't get to all these other things that retailers want to do to grow that market basket and grow that customer. So hearing the word safety and cleanliness repeatedly in this conversation, it's hitting along some of the things that we are hearing when we're talking to consumers too. So it's linking up what retailers have on their minds as how to serve customers with what we're hearing that customers are telling us. The other thing is we've also in our surveys heard about the sense of purpose, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. And in the surveys, we found that nearly half of American consumers want to shop, 47%, the exact number. They want to shop at places that have friendly employees and make them feel welcome. And that is only done if it's part of a broader environment where they feel welcome to make other people feel welcome. The other thing is 1 in 3 customers, 35%, say they want to go to a store that cares about the community. And cares about the community is a kind of nebulous and kind of specific. You can think of it as nebulous. How do I define what they mean by cares? It's like when you see it, you know it. And what are some of the examples that Cenex can share with how you can show care about the community, that employees are engaged and committed to this just as much as the business, to just drive that circle and keep people coming back to a store that feels like their store?
I think you bring up a really interesting point in the fact that in order for the Cenex retailer and the Cenex location to thrive and to even consider, the customer experience, some things are foundational. Alongside safety and cleanliness, supporting the community overall, supporting those neighboring businesses around them is critical to each location's success. And I think that's what Cenex does so well, is elevating the overall community experience. It's bigger than the one store. So there are some examples of a lot of activity, actually a lot of examples of a lot of activity, rather, that our stores have engaged in to really just ensure that not just their locations thriving, but those around them and those that support them and those that support the community are doing so as well. We've seen partnering with local artists. They use local vendors and contractors when they're executing their work, because you're providing all those folks with opportunities. And you're also establishing super valuable connections within that life and that really community ecosystem. So they've joined forces with other local businesses to promote a healthy local economy and really contribute to that thriving community. I think we've all heard the stories, about the rural American town and how it's becoming more of a struggle, right? To keep those lively and engaged, and how you foster that sense of pride in your community. And our stores are really at the crux of that. We have a great example out of Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and Northern Star Cooperative. They've got some great examples of partnering with a local construction company during their build when they were utilizing the LIFT program. The construction company and Northern Star Cooperative, really fostered a strong relationship, and it allowed them to stay in close contact through the entire building process. You kind of think of the life cycle of that relationship, right? You're engaging with a construction company that's helping you overhaul your business. You're providing for those vendors that are working on your operations renovation. You immediately then have customers and advocates moving forward out of that renovation that are then going to encourage others in the community to visit your store because they believe in you and they believe in the fact that you care about the community. Another really solid example is Synergy Cooperative. They took it upon themselves to really partner with 4 local food vendors. We talk about local being important. I think one of the places that's felt the strongest across the country is in the food scene. Eat local, local suppliers. But with Synergy, they use those food vendors to bring in a variety of meats, cheeses, maple syrup, and honey to really enhance the offerings in their store. So it goes beyond your, just kind of go-to snacks, and it infuses pride in the community in other ways.
Yeah, it also hits to some of these social media things where somebody's really excited about something, they
Right.
post about it, and it's like, where'd you get that? I got it at the local store. Well, tell me more.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
And then 40 other people like it, and then you get comments and you get all this other stuff. You hit upon a really critical point, I think, for those who are small businesses to think about. And we have meetings with smaller businesses and try to see how at NACS how we can bring together people, help them, whether it's at our big show, whether it's at other things. More than half of the industry, convenience store industry, is small businesses. 10 stores or less, it's actually more than 60%. Right. And when you talk to people who are small businesses and you get them together and it's like, should we have another one of these meetings? And the first thing they say is, I'm so happy to learn I don't have to figure out something, all these things by myself, that there's somebody that is there for me, that there's somebody that gets me. And that's a cool thing about what we do at NACS. That's also an integral thing about what Cenex does with, you may only have a store or two or a couple stores, but you're tapping into essentially a study group of people around the country that have the same issues that might be able to help you out on something.
There's power in numbers.
Yeah. Yep. And so it's awesome to not feel that you have to solve every problem by yourself. One of the things, and we've talked about some of the benefits of the LIFT program, about working with Cenex. Let's spend a little time talking about, okay, that sounds like a good idea. What do I do next? So how does a retailer, whether they're already in the Cenex network or whether they're saying, I want to learn more about Cenex, how might they start this process of really renovating their stores and taking advantage of the programs that you offer?
Oh, well, I think we encourage folks really anytime they want to learn more about Cenex to visit Cenex.com. That's always going to be your first step, right? Cenex.com. And even more specifically, if they're interested in the LIFT program, it's Cenex.com/LIFT. So that's going to be your one-stop shop for some self-discovery and to see the tools and the resources that we have and who you can reach out to begin to make that really meaningful impact in your community. The Cenex Lift initiative, it encourages all of our locations, regardless of the size of projects, to make updates to the interior and exterior of their stores so that you have the right feel for your community and in your location. And you're absolutely right, Jeff. You're not alone. We have many goals in this program, and one of those goals is to ensure that we're with our retailers every step of the way. We have a team behind the scenes who really wants to ensure that our store owners are using this incentive to enhance customer experience. And that at the end of the day, at the end of the project, that end game is to enhance that customer experience and the safety at their location. So we have, retail consultants, we have business development specialists, we have vendor partnerships and preferred vendors even, that we can help any size retailer navigate their way through the most efficient course for using LIFT so that they get the result they desire for their community and with their customer in mind at the end of the day. It's really an exciting time to be part of the Cenex family. And we want to encourage folks to just discover more, again, by visiting cenex.com/lift. So I don't know, I could go on and on and on about the program, but yeah, it's great. And it's helped us elevate our locations to better serve our communities and to better serve the purpose that CHS has. And that's really to give back to those that live and work where we do business.
So if I were to do a word cloud, and word clouds are when words that are said more common are bigger than others.
Right.
The words that would be biggest would be words like safety, cleanliness, local, community, partnerships, resources, sense of belonging, elevation. Pretty positive words. And it's a good story to tell. So if any of those words are of interest to you in how do you grow your business, talk to Erin and team. They have answers for you. And most of all, I think they show that you don't have to do this by yourself and you're not alone. Thank you, Erin, for joining us today. And once again, in case now we got their attention with the word cloud stuff, how do they find you?
They are going to find us at cenex.com/lift. That's CENEX.com/LIFT.
And of course, you can always reach out to us. We know how to find them too. So thanks for joining us today, Erin.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Jeff.
And thank you all for listening to Convenience Matters.
Convenience Matters is brought to you by NACS and produced in partnership with Human Factor. For more information, visit convenience.org.